Sometimes you haven't got the slightest clue of where you're going to go next. The wind can lead you into strange places, captured by the gust of pure surprise. The camera takes the picture of a moment that is forever in your eye's nest. The butterfly lands and rests for only a little while until a new destination calls. This is Characters in the Wind.
I used to say that I was directing a film, but a better way of saying what I'm doing here is to say that I am a narrator of conversation called Characters in the Wind. It's a lot like jazz, complete improvisation, but yet there's a sense of structure because I have titles, and I felt like New Zealand was going to be the perfect place to, record some good footage because it's beautiful here, and it's also a new place.
Look at this view, man. We're going to actually go up this time. I've been seeing it in the distance, but I didn't think I was brave. I think I'm brave enough. Now, I'm going to be careful because I ain't trying to die. Because if you fall off this cliff, you gone, homie. All right. I think this is as far as I'll go. Look at that. Oh, the blue. Yo, this is Characters in the Wind. I can't tell you exactly where we are right now, but you might as well enjoy the view. Huh?
Wow. So back on the titles for a second, it's Kaleidoscopic Vortex, Plural Arenas, Elite Superstar, Uniquely Neon, Thick Triggers, Sex Spade, and Characters in the Wind. These are conversations engineered to bring a sense of recognition. I'm going to talk about a lot of different things, going a lot of different places, with the intention that you may contribute to the story. So it's improvisation. It's going to be, it's going to look random, but I guarantee you if you stick around, you'll get to understand what it means.
So the other day I was walking through the nonfiction section of the library. So many books were there, and I really didn't have the time to explore all of the different books. Now, I love books because so much information is just readily available with a flip of the page. Reading a book is like a series of URLs embedded in random chapters. You never know when you're going to be led to your next destination. You just got to open up the page and click. And I wanted instant information, something to capture me in the moment. I wanted to read about space. There is always so much to learn about the universe and all of its charms and mysteries. So, I did just what I intended. I got a book, decided to sit down for a moment to read the details of what this book was going to be about. I opened to a random page and briefly learned about the chaos of the universe, how everything is completely random, but yet designed in some kind of purpose. Just as I began to really ponder on this reality, I got real hungry. So I got up and put the book back on the shelf. Because of my hunger spell, I didn't really pay too much attention to the fact that this book was actually nonfiction. I wondered if anyone would notice that it was in the wrong section. Chances are no one would really care, but how much simpler life would be if we put things back where we got them from. The compass of reference would lead us in the right direction. It's a shock to realize the many ways we're led because something triggered us to move and to improvise in the moment. At any given moment, we are arrested under cartoon hypnosis, animating underneath the spell of illusion by the indirect influence of suggestive implication. If we listen close enough, we can pick up on the subtle references that are clearly seen if we're paying attention. Navigation is inspired by the signal.
Look twice.
Must signifying that we're about to be going flying. I know, right? It's like, you flying? Where you going? Where you going?
Thick triggers. Thick triggers. Thick triggers. Thick triggers. So when you think about what pulls you, kind of just what persuades you, what kind of gets your attention, what triggers you?
The only thing I have for that is, okay, I was thinking about it today. There's this one feeling that happens that's behind every risk I've ever taken.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything I really like put my heart and soul into, like this feeling. It's like right in the center of my torso, and it's almost like a push over a cliff. It's like when you're getting ready to do something, you know. Yeah. It's like that feeling. It's like okay, or it's like no. So
how does that come?
But it's always triggered by something emotional.
Oh, okay.
And so then that's the drive that happens. So it's either I get like what do I have to lose, or I have to prove something, or getting over a fear that tends to trigger that feeling. But that usually leads to some kind of grand action, right, in terms of my life spectrum. So I think the less you delve into like your past, the less you delve into your past and the more like you ignore it, I think the thicker the triggers become. I think the more you start to come to terms with, or really explore, or try at least to understand like your past, your childhood, the things that cause these triggers, positive or negative, then I think when something happens, like I'm coming to terms with that feeling now. So the more it happens now, the less thick
the less thick it is. The less thick it is.
Yeah, the
exactly.
less I know what it is. I know how to process it, and eventually I will know how to use it. It won't be so all-consuming, you know. But if I always just ignored it or
just
got
kind of
caught up,
off. That's a good point. Yeah, the more you realize it, it does become less thick, and then that's what enables. That's what kind of makes you fearless.
Yeah, I don't think fearless is. I don't know. We have this strange, like almost immortal feeling to fearlessness.
Yeah, we do. As if it's like we can't be afraid.
Yeah, and for me, I feel like the people that I consider to be fearless are just like really truly know like every part of themselves, and so they know how to overcome themselves constantly.
Yeah.
You know, they're always afraid.
Yeah, we're always afraid.
I don't know, but they know that it's just a feeling, just like the rest of it. You know,
it's not more than.
Yeah, you can only know that by working through it.
Mm-hmm.
We just stop at the fear. It's like, oh shit, no.
Yeah.
They're like, all right.
Okay, we're here.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
here.
Let's see what's on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then they know that there's the other side to it.
Mm-hmm.
But that shit's like a big old forest with weird noises, and it's dark, and you got like 30,000 years of legends attached to it and shit. And you by yourself, you know, last bit of water. You gotta pee.
Every now and then, I get reminded why people lock themselves up, or sometimes shut down and desert themselves to a place of fear. Because the more you give people instruction and codes and methods, you diminish the individual right for them to be who they are, which might not prescribe to those particular codes and methods. Because not everyone learns the same way. Not everyone is given the same tools. Not everyone knows how to do math the same way. And the great thing is there are multiple ways of learning. And you can do something about your situation. You can change what you don't find appealing. You have to listen to the signs, listen to your body. Just listen. And everything will be kind of understood a bit more clearly when you listen. Then you can make the next step, actually making a decision, changing the thing that you don't enjoy.
And the thing about conversation is that it can be filled with triggers. Ever had a conversation with someone, and depending on the context of your connection to them, they brought out all of these monsters you thought only existed in your nightmares? Or to the contrary, has a conversation ever pulled you in and possessed you with a feeling of being suspended into an island of cotton candy and joyful sensation? This is because some words can act as a trigger. Certain sounds, grunts, and tones, even body language and eye contact. You probably forgot it existed in you until BAM! You were reminded that the truth can sound like a memory. You know what you're doing right now? Creating memories, storing information that can be recalled even if you're not consciously aware. Thick triggers begins when the swirl calls you from infinite directions. With graceful touches, your fluorescent serenades covers me completely. I seek the manifestation of your secret, for with your every temptation, my desire is undressing those brief inhibitions within me. I feel the power of your sex, and this introduces the spade, for sex is the spade, and its hand can play us deceitfully, but we're careful and cautious to the time we spend. You see, we understand our engagements are taken with sincerity and tenderness. We respect our emotions and individuality. However, we are determined by the moment's caress. The moments with you can't help but explore the appeal we have for each other. We travel ancient places when we touch each other. It's like we can see the future as if it was this moment. I suppose the future is known when our eyes become one. Our moments are gentle and designed by spontaneity and sacredness. We seek through the sex spade, and we each are careful with the cards we choose to lay down.
I am the dealer. I am the gambler. I am all in. Inebriated by the pheromones that exude from your skin, flesh that now glistens from anticipation, while the secret that lies deep within you has become the main source of my temptation. My every touch is rendered with caution, precision, and placed with care, while fingers caress the frame so fragile and fair. Delicate as you are chaste, that you are dipped in mystery and strength, while we connect on a deeper level, that of wavelength. This burning desire now encompasses my yearning, as the levels of your arousal start to swell, while every inhibition melts away and you play the last card you've deliberately withheld. The spade, the ace, the highest regard for your most sacred place. It is from your body's dialogue to which I understand that we must be apprehensive with these cards as we show our hands. I respectfully lay down my kings, who are paired in diamonds and hearts, while I mirror every emotion that makes itself my counterpart, welcomed and acknowledged by the permission of your sex. I tread lightly over the spade's beauty. Adorned with the right as its loyal subject, I take on every adderous test as if it were my civic duty. Undivided now are we as my kings take up your queens, reigning from the acropolis that lies deep in between, bound to a place where we are now soul to soul, as we indulge in the love that makes us lose control. Spontaneous and sporadic travelers now of each other's beings, minds, and hearts. I don't want to evade this feeling, for your love is like a fine work of art. Abstractions shown in kaleidoscopic form as physical tendencies become jaded, but we experience this magnetic storm that has left us faded. I was the dealer. I was the gambler. I was all in. Now we are one from within and have been renewed. Yet inebriated we lay drenched in the pheromones that we exude. Our worn out bodies rest in a state of exhaustion, while we fold under the escapade. Unknowingly we ignored every precaution, but that is the bliss of ignorance when I'm dealt with your sex spade.
Let's get ready for Miscellaneous Cotton Candy. Miscellaneous Cotton Candy. Miscellaneous Cotton Candy.
Miscellaneous cotton candy.
This is a song about that sweet thing and the feel and fun. Something to make your tongue swirl. We like to call it lollies.
Lollies on the ground, lollies in your mouth. Lollies on the ground, trollies all around. Lollies on the ground, lollies in your mouth. Lollies on the ground, trollies all around. Lollies and trollies, lollies and trollies, lollies and trollies, hanging with my mates. Lollies and trollies, lollies and trollies, lollies and trollies, isn't it great? You can go that you can go that you can breathe. You can know that matter like a swan still free. Lollies tell no lies, trolleys roll with ease. So look into my eyes and give me something sweet, baby. Jump into my car. This candy touch my heart. break. Lollies on the ground, lollies in your mouth, lollies on the ground. Lollies on the ground, lollies in your mouth, lollies on the ground. Lollies and trollies, lollies and trollies, lollies and trollies, hanging with my mates. Lollies and trollies, lollies and trolleys, lollies and trolleys. Isn't it great? Lollies on the ground, lollies in your mouth, lollies on the ground, trolleys all around. Lollies on the ground, lollies in your mouth, lollies on the ground, trolleys all around.
Uniquely Neon is in celebration of green, because green is futuristic, green is freaky, green is on these leaves, and green is on the grass. You can't escape green when you're in nature. And the reason why is because it's pretty much everywhere in nature. It's the building blocks of life. Neon green, uniquely neon. It parades on all of nature's friends. You can't escape it. It's everywhere you go. And it's unique because of that. It's unique because when you look around in nature, there you see it. And not all green is neon. Not all green. There's so many shades of green. But our eyes recognize with green more than any other color in the spectrum of colors. The camera is not quite capable of expressing how green all of this feels and looks. This is what uniquely neon is. Me and Jeremy just taking a scroll, and look at all this green. Green. That's what, I mean, not all neon is green, but when I think of neon, I typically think of this kind of nature's green, you know?
Uniquely being carried away in different directions. For everyone is speaking to me all at once. Friends and connections are breathing in and out. I am unfolding, revolving around conversation, contact, and a sudden gaze, raptured in by activity and surrounding mobility. Movement is mutating, and more forms of engagement are rising all at once. Islands are being explored by the whims of conversation, and I'm carried into the land of improvisation. Several characters with different personalities are leading the way with parade intention. New constructs are forming, and I welcome with anticipation, with excitement, with joy, the levels that I am due to explore next. In this field of green, of unique scene.
I think and speak only words of love. I think and speak only love. I think and speak only words of
I am a nature freak, wild with the power of my ancestors. The flight of my ancestors are surrounding me. Some of them are dancing while others are singing. They want me to eat with them and to listen to the stories they heard from their ancestors. I'm at the table laughing and understanding with the wealth of subjects before me. But they are freaking out, and I am too. Our ancestors realized the power of coming together, and by feeding the will of community development, they are whispering in our ears. By the voices of nature, we are allowed a collective building and understanding. We are given an answer through the melody of the birds. This ability is of ancestral heritage. There is an obsessive interruption in nature because architecture is becoming more visible than nature itself. I reckon that the industrial world should allow the abilities of nature at a more balanced rate. If we are surrounded by buildings designed to only fund our entertainment and habit of consumption, what will our energy become? You capture surprise and expectancy so well. It's following me, and I am suddenly a victim of its charm. I run with it, as it parades on all of nature's friends. I look below me and notice its embrace on the grass. I then proceed to stumble through the grass, but before I do, I'm reminded of why neon green is a freaky scene. It's neither in or out, the way it is without inhibition, yet it has the willingness to promote balance. Futuristic fields begin to program the sight of everything that is alive. I'm starting to realize a future dictated by natural consumption. How else can one live without the all-seeing green to build them up? You see that star?
Where?
There. It's looking right at you. It's nearly shining on everything in the distance. It's walking towards you. Can't you hear it? I think those steps are saying something. Those steps are affirming how royal you are, how elite you are. Welcome. It's the elite superstar. Elite superstar. With the walk of authority and chief design, you walk the walk of divinity. Your steps, careful and true, makes me understand what those shoes mean to you. A foundation so solid and design so elite, your stars are a sweet treat. The sound of your steps are the navigation to the future, as your walk is laced with power and leadership. You know where you're going, and your movement is trustworthy. You're magnetic. Your celebrity is a carousel, and I've become your biggest fan. The law in your presence requires me to subject to your supremacy. Your smile is like a radiant manifestation of a fallen star. Several of your colors I remember as a child, which is a reward to your capability. To follow your order and to serve you means the king's bread. You're my elite superstar, and the orbits dance in welcome of your arrival. You're my elite superstar, and the orbits dance in welcome of your arrival. And the orbits dance in welcome of your arrival.
The mind is an amazing palace. Imagination is capable of creating ideas and simply magic. And the best way for me to enter into a magical place is to imagine, to close my eyes, and to go there. And it's because of that gift, creations have literally been pantomimed. Imagination is the key to enlightenment. You're capable of it. We're all capable of it, but sometimes we are distracted by the activity around us. The wind blows through the trees, and sometimes we get to glance at the beautiful butterflies and bees buzzing. But if we close our eyes and we really process, we can go anywhere. It's possible to get lost in this field of imagination. The realms of imagination are so deep. The caves are so large. Laying down All of us are capable of magic. It starts with the lips of intention, affirming what we want to see. That's what imagination is. It's believing it before it actually happens. It's true that you have the power of creating your own reality. You can manifest exactly what you wish to see by speaking the words on your lips. It starts with imagination. It starts with seeing it. Magic me, magic you. We're all elite superstars. All of us can walk with authority and with dominion and with power. We have it within us. And sometimes we're frightened. Sometimes we are afraid. But the best way to conquer that is to face it, to look it in its eye and speak. Because you do have the power and you do have the ability to challenge that which is challenging you. If it got you, you got it. You can harness this reality. Belief establishes magic. By believing, you're allowing yourself to realize that without a shadow of a doubt, you can become whatever you intend.
Disappearing acts of what appears to be real by the manifestation of perception. If you could keep what is real within you by promising your lips with its moment of contact, spheres will form around you with a display of endless boundary, completing levels upon levels as energy levels charge with syncopation of heart. I am the stillness that appears as death, but I am alive to reflex. Come drink of me. When you wish to arrive to a sense of confidence, knowing in the person of your being that you intend and bring forth.
And that's what we breathe towards. The awareness and says, welcome. When someone nasty shows up in an expression, to us, we sense their consciousness just like we sense any consciousness. And it's limited for them. They're lost. So,
But it's ultimately welcome.
hello. Right.
As a collective, I am fascinated by the many ways you are connected. I am kept with company, so much of you where I now mirror myself on your own reflections. Living in this arena means that I can no longer abbreviate the stars. Millions are in the distance, even in the nearest proximity, yet I don't have a vehicle to help beat the space between us. Even with my limited telescopic magnifier, I am now the closest that is possible to you. I am unable to harness all of your structures and complete attitude, yet you are my constant measurement. We are closer by the subject of mathematical equality. Mutation has begun, and now I am beginning to fall under your every spell. Your presence is a birth of plural arenas, and now I understand my company. You are my mirrored kiss. My own reflection is multiplied a million times, a million times, a million times. It happens.
See, I think of mistakes as like when you're filming something and you're like, oh, we could do that better. That's like a mistake. Like you,
A mistake?
yeah. Yeah. Try again, you know, like take two, take three.
Look twice.
Yeah,
That's exactly
how I
what
see it. It's just
yeah.
it's not like
That's what a plural arena is. to
yeah,
me.
it doesn't
like,
ruin
it's not
the film.
No.
It just means that's not going to make the cut.
That's not going to make Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
That's for the uncut version that you can only watch in heaven.
That you got to pay for with your death.
The wages of sin.
So it is.
A lot of life, I would say all of life actually, is about paying attention, how well you pay attention. And so you take on new experiences. We have things like art, which I think is one of the greatest gifts that we have, a way to remember. Art is really just a way to remember. So music and fashion and just entertainment, all of these things are diaries of art, or paying attention, I should say. Art helps us pay attention. You know, that's why I'm thankful for music. It brings you back to where you first heard it. You remember, you know, the lyrics connect with some source in you, the beat of the drum, the sound of the guitar, the sound of the piano. Like, it literally transports you into some time, certain dimensions. Reading pages of books, you know, literature, fiction, all of those things, imagination, all of this is art, and it's just placed in everything that's around life currently. At this time, it's just how well are you paying attention to that? Because not all of the time are we aware of all of the things happening at one time. You know, our bodies are just sucking in all of this energy. Every day we're being linked in with, you know, all the, and it's not just good things, let me say. I can't just say it's just all these wonderful flowers. Sometimes it's some downright horrible shit, if I might say, that's actually being, you know, brought through the airwaves. It's not just the positive things. You got people speaking fear, you got people speaking hatred, paranoia, then you got people speaking love, and you have also the way things interpret and the way things channel. I mean, I want laughter more and more because I realize how powerful it is. So most of the time I just tend to laugh because when you really look at it in the way it is, it's kind of funny. It's like, man, if you're really being honest with yourself, you're in that situation because you made that decision, homie. Ultimately, if you take it at the root, you good. You can be content in it. You can find that tunnel. Now, I'm not here to say how. Not everyone finds it the same way. I just tend to believe that all things are promised in my intent. So I'm going to start speaking well. I'm not going to be chained, and if I am frustrated, I'm gonna be frustrated. If I want to scream, I'm gonna scream because I can. Basically, I don't have to just be like la 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 la. I can also be like, you know, it's like I can do anything. And if I'm pissed, I'm pissed. But I don't want to perceive my total ultimate self to a temporal feeling of frustration, because emotions are temporal and they are definitely connected to some source, but I think we can grow into an understanding of some balance, some moderation, even moderation.
In the wind chime, let's do the wind chime. Look at that.
Let me hold it. What happened?
What's going on? I feel like I'm part of some art photography project.
Wait, you know what this is right now? This is called improvisation. For the longest time, we've been trying to set up. Now it's been darker. You know what time it is? It's 9:51, and we like trying to record something. It's like, okay, we have lamps to be the backing
How
lighting.
did I end up on this chair, surrounded by lamps and a lemon tree?
In a lemon tree, with a nice melody in the background. This is art, people. This is improvisation. You just go along with the flow. You don't worry about what it looked like. You just do it, and you laugh, because it's like... All right, as cool as this is, I'm getting tired of holding it, so I'm going to pass the torch. Who wants to hold it? Bam. There you go. That's your job, homie.
No one to pass the job to.
After a while, you have to pass the light. You can't hold it for yourself. You got to pass the light. All right, passing the light now.
Imagine if we dropped it.
Right?
Pass it to the earth.
Pass it to the earth. How about you take it, huh? How about that? How you feel now? You take the light.
happy forever. This is in celebration of the fact that you're infinite and that you are forever. And so in celebration of that, and praise of that, I'm just here to say, happy forever. So me and Jeremy here are about to get on the bus out in Timaru.
Happy forever. Happy forever. Happy forever. Instead of saying happy birthday, I've started saying happy forever. You are only born once, and the fact that we celebrate this born day is exclusive to humans in some cultures. While we won't live forever, I do believe we live in the memories of those we interact with. It sounds like I'm saying, be happy forever, but that would be impossible for some people. Studies show that some are more prone to happiness than others. Happiness only means something when you know what the opposite feels like. We may not know what happiness is, but we know what it ain't. Maybe if we could sit with the opposite of happiness, we could appreciate when we truly discover happiness. Forever is longer than we'll ever be able to experience in one lifetime. Eventually, yes, we're all forgotten, even in the minds of those that remembers us most. The light of the candle is meant to be a symbol of how fast life goes by. It's a stark destiny that we're all going to reach at some point. So happy forever. You're here, and while you're here, celebrate your trip during this experience of life. Happy forever. Happy forever. Happy forever.
The protagonist or the antagonist? I could never quite decide which one. I figured I'd be more like the one causing trouble than the one trying to redeem and solve it. The villains enjoy the darkness because of the playground of mystery. The hero is the good guy, the redeemer, and the saint. for he cares for the hearts of those who are harmed. Yet he seems exceptionally blameless, and his darkness is rarely discussed. Why is that? He's in the wind of the darkness and the light just as the antagonist. The villain's intention is rarely accused. We think, oh, they can only be made of every evil component. But even they have tasted of the light. Characters in the wind come from every direction. North, east, west, and south are the homes for each and every character. Characters in the wind are both you and me. As we are dispensed through the wind, we become familiar with newer landscapes. There must be a moderation in our balance of light and darkness. We are then a perfect blend of the darkness and the light. We are each and every character designed in this story. Let's not forget we were once what we have grown from. The butterfly should never shame the caterpillar, no matter how long ago it escaped from its cocoon. The gray area or shadow existence follows us. Understanding and walking into the light does not mean murdering your shadow. The darkness is also the protagonist. The truest antagonist is the absence of light, but the light needs darkness in order to reveal itself. Void is the absence of only the light. We know what void is because of what the light is. Characters in the wind are both you and me. Which character you are depends on what part of the story you are playing currently. This symbol is gesture IX, or in other words, uniformed and deranged. One is scattered and all over the place, while the other follows the flow of character in an ordered manner. My artistic statement is one that unites them both. It's evolved intensely throughout the years, but there was always some kind of X, an I on top of that X, in my journals since I was a kid. The letter X has a unique coding structure. As mathematics is concerned, it can represent the unknown among being an independent variable. My toes are arrows because I'm going in different directions. There's no compass or narration unless it's improvisation. I do hope you went to various places with me. I think we all start off deranged, and as the days go on, we're uniformed. The elements of life tend to be all over the place, but in line with the true character of each element, even in different random places.